Damon Moore here, and you're watching the Kilted Prepper. How's everybody doing today? About 2 weeks ago, I did a show on using long swords for home defense. And it was actually a rather popular show. A lot of people were commenting, a lot of people would love it. And so, just really, really good. And what I wanted to do is kind of do a follow-up. I had some people actually question me. One person is going to remain nameless and anonymous, lives in an apartment, and he was telling me that, the hallway is rather small and the ceilings are standard, 8 foot or 7.5 foot and everything. So kind of cramped quarters and everything. So that was one gentleman. And then I had another person also telling me that they lived in an older home, and same thing. The ceilings were about 8 foot or kind of shorter, and then yeah, his hallway was real dinky. What I wanted to do is talk to you then about using short swords for home defense. And I was digging around and everything, and I finally found some of my short swords and such. So to start things off, what I wanted to show you here, this is called the Black Ronin. Now, I have to admit, this is brand new. It was one of the honorable mentions in the article that I sent out to the Kilted Insiders. So the Kilted Insiders, if you got it, you got the link to this and everything. But this is called the Black Ronin, and it got a lot of positive reviews, and it's rather inexpensive. I want to say it's only about $29, and comes with a great Kydex sheath, some fancy schmancy 550 cord and everything. It has a back strap on it so that you can hang it off your back and everything you want to go that way, as well as a belt loop. So actually it was like $32. So for that price, this isn't a bad blade. And then look at it. This puppy is beautiful. Now, check out this spine. This is a decent spine on this blade, and it does not bend. And then it's got a really great point. And this puppy is pretty sharp. I haven't sharpened it yet. And again, it's got 550 cord wrapping with probably imitation race skin here, but good enough to where you could use 2 hands on it if you had to. It's got a nice little indent here so that you can choke up on it, if you want. But this is a great little sword. And one of the primary reasons I bought this is for out in the woods and such. So I thought it'd be very good for out here in the woods, kill a snake or just chopping down branches and everything. But I was really, really impressed with it, especially with the thickness of the steel. But this is a great blade for the price. And so, great sheath, great looking sword. This is a definite go-to. I would highly recommend this blade. Great blade. Now, the second runner-up, or the runner-up that a lot of people go to, is the Cold Steel Gladius. This puppy's got a nice point on it. Look at that. Point. Nice blade, nice sharp blade. It's got some good heft down here, so it's got some good weight to it. So good swinger, good chopper. This is probably a lot of people a de facto home defense weapon, because it is just a great looking blade. Great, just feels great in the hand. You can bash someone with this, punch someone with it, chop them. This is, and if anybody out there does eskrima or, Filipino stick fighting, these are great for eskrima. I used to do eskrima. I haven't practiced eskrima in a long time, but 2 of these make great. They're about the same length as an eskrima stick, and so very, very good practical short sword weapon. But this is a great home defense weapon. You can sharpen this up. This is carbon steel. What is it, 15? 16? I forget the exact metal type. But you can sharpen up. It is a carbon steel, and it will hold an edge. It's pretty great. But the cold steel machetes are not really machetes. I mean, you can use them as machetes and everything, but they're really decent weapons. And Cold Steel is a company that they make their weapons to be used and to be used in a fighting situation. So all their tools, all their swords and machetes and knives and everything like that, very inexpensive, but also a very good weapon. So it's a great home defense weapon here. And this is probably, out of all the machetes that Cold Steel has, this is probably the most popular for home defense. Now, an honorable mention here, and I've showed you this one before, but this is, a little bit smaller, for if you're really living in tight quarters. This is the Cold Steel, one of their miniature machetes, and they have a whole series of miniature machetes. And this is actually the spear point, but they have a clip point, they have a bowie, they have a number of different short machetes. And these puppies are just, decently long knives, and also probably considered even a short sword. But this is one of my favorite blades. As you can see, I use it quite a bit when I'm out in the brush and everything. So very good. It's easy to chop with, easy to swing. You're not going to hit the ceiling, So if you're in tight quarters, tight hall or something, look at some of the Cold Steel short machetes. And so this is a great, you can even use it in the kitchen too if you want it. But they have some great short machete blades, Cold Steel. And again, made to fight, made, at a great price point. A lot of these cost somewhere about $25. So you can't go wrong with it. And then another one. A number of people were talking about Wakazashis. A Wakazashi, and I showed you this before in the show a couple weeks ago, but a Wakazashi is the short sword that accompanies the katana. And so the katana is the big long sword. The short sword is the Wakazashi. Because you see in a lot of the samurai movies or Japanese movies and everything, you see the samurai walking around with two swords. There is the long sword and then the Wakazashi. And quite often, a lot of the samurai fought dual-handed. So they would use this as more of a defensive weapon and, shield, and then their long sword as their primary. So a gentleman, a very famous samurai called Musashi, was very well known for his dual sword workmanship. But this is a Case Hanwei Raptor Series Wakazashi. Good, just great blade, nice, small, not going to hit the roof. And these are razor sharp. So you can put a great edge on this puppy and it will hold. So this is a razor sharp blade. If you're looking for razor sharp, then look into a Wakazashi. And I'm going to be giving you some links to these later on, and everything, not necessarily to this blade, but I have found a couple. There's like a tactical Wakazashi that was for something like $69. And if you're just looking for home defense, then that is a great choice. I mean, it's a two-handed Wakazashi with kind of rubberized grips and everything. It's a very tactical looking blade. And then Musashi makes a 1060 high carbon steel clay tempered Wakazashi, tactical Wakazashi. And I want to say that was somewhere around $120. But again, a great blade. Those are the 1060 carbon, the Musashi 1060 Wakazashi is a razor blade. And I love Musashi. They are a great company for swords and katanas and everything. But their 1060 high carbon steel and their clay tempered, differentially tempered swords are incredible. And for the money, they're definitely a go-to. So another choice that you can use for home defense is a Wakazashi. So finally, or not finally, but here's another blade. And I think I showed you this before. When we were doing survival knives, I was showing you, this is kind of a copa style. So it's got a swept belly or short belly with a big hump and everything. This is a copa style. And copa style knives are really meant to chop and hack and everything. This is again, smaller, shorter, or longer knife or shorter sword. And this is a good chopper. And again, this is an inexpensive blade. I want to say it's somewhere around $40 or $50. You can find these at like Lowe's and maybe even Home Depot. In Texas, I know they sell these because this is where I got it, in Texas at Lowe's. But I thought it was a great blade, and again, just for home defense, you know, it's got a good edge to it. You can put even a finer edge on it. And again, this is for chopping. You're not going to hit the ceiling. It's good for tight quarters, for, you know, if you're in the hallway or anything like that. This is a good blade and very pointy. So a very, very good one. And then finally here, this is my machete. Actually, this was something that was gifted to me in Costa Rica. And I found, as you can see, it's still brand new, never used it or anything. But I wanted to show a common old everyday machete. You can pick these up at Lowe's, Home Depot, basically any garden store or anything like these. This is cheap old everyday, you know, machete. And this is by Imacasa. They're out of El Salvador, and so a lot of the machetes are made down there. But as you can see, this is 2,100, you know, 2,120 colones, which basically means $21 and $2. Yeah, $2 and probably call it 50 cents. But very, very good blade. Very small, again, great for the home. You're not going to hit the ceiling. It's rather short and everything. You can sharpen these machetes up like crazy. This one's pretty dull, but in Costa Rica and Panama, the guys carry these everywhere, and you can shave with them. But just for some little bit history lesson and everything, the cutlass. This is basically the design off of the cutlass. The machete was the original cutlass, and so, you know, they would put handles on them and everything. Kill the handle on this. Actually put, you know, maybe a better wraparound handle or encased handle or something. But but this is, you know, basically the original cutlass sword. So very good short sword, and again, inexpensive steel. You can sharpen it up. If you go out hacking with it and everything, it will lose its edge. But if you're looking at it for home defense and everything, sharpen this puppy up, keep it in the sheath somewhere, and it's ready to go for home defense. Sharp, ready to go. And as with all these blades, you know, if you're going to use these for home defense, get them ready, get them clean, keep them ready, and then that way you always have them ready for a home defense use. You know, I love this blade. This feels really good. So use a little bit more wrapping on the handle maybe to fill it out. But I just love this blade. This is super pointy, super sharp. And again, this is the black Ronin Combat Wakazashi. And very, very good. And again, I'll put some links here where you can get these and stuff. Totally affordable and a great home defense weapon. So that's everything that I've got for you tonight. Again, tonight we were talking about short swords for home defense. And again, short swords more used for, if you know, closer quarters, lower ceilings, you know, so forth. You're not going to be, you know, you don't have a katana that you can swing and, you know, stick in the ceiling and everything when you go to swing it and stuff. Which brings us to great joy, because no one would blink if I picked up a... Okay, I guess you're talking about something else. But great swords, great home defense weapons, and something that I highly recommend for you. Very cost effective as well. So again, I'll put links into these a little bit later so you can look this up yourself. And this is just a badass sword, folks. Isn't that cool? So that's everything. I'm Raymond Moore. We'll see you. Goodbye. God bless. And kilt on.